And then, so it is the 14th of July. Cannot believe we're talking July, but it's the 14th of July. It is 8 o'clock, and we have the lovely Marna Ross with us. She has been in business for 22 years with Pampered Chef. And you said you worked really hard at it for 8 years, and then went from there. Did you take like a little bit of a siesta and then come back?
Nope.
Or?
I worked it part-time along with my full-time job for 8 years.
Gotcha. Okay. And then kicked it into high gear. So, only thing I want to say in introducing Marna is I'm amazed with Pampered Chef in the respect that I was one person sitting in a room with thousands of women, and Marna got up and shared her story, and it was amazing to hear. And I'm not even sure what exactly she's going to share with us today, but the fact that I was able to reach out and ask her a quick favor to come on and talk to us and have her accept is amazing, because it is extremely high caliber to, I consider me the little folk in the back of the room, and here she is talking with us. And I just love how we can share wisdom and we can share moments with people across the country, and then we can build off of that and make our own stories from there. So Marna, thank you so much for being on here tonight. And I'm going to shut up and let you talk because they don't want to hear me.
Oh, I'm sure they do want to hear you. So thanks, friends, for letting me hang out with you for a little while tonight. My day was probably just as crazy as yours. I'm doing this talk with a top on. I have no pants on. Just so you know, I didn't even have time to get some clean pants on. I had a bathing suit on just up until a few minutes ago. We had grandkids here. So it's the pantsless talk here. Nice. So anyway, thanks for that introduction. And I wanted to share with you just a couple of things. You know, I reflect back on what has really struck me as being super helpful in my journey. And, you know, because you can take a booking workshop, you can take a recruiting workshop, you can take all these different things. But I want to share with you some insight into the background, the backstory of how this business works. And I'm going to share something that I don't think you've probably heard before. But I just want to get started with thanking you for asking me. And I want to talk to you about inspiration and how to keep going in a business that might not be looking so hotsy-totsy today. What keeps people going and moving on? So some of you may have heard my story at conference, right? I've certainly had some setbacks in my life. We'll call them setbacks. We could call them hardships. We could call them inconveniences. You know that I had not the typical growing up. My mom and I have an okay relationship today, but it wasn't real pretty for a while. I had a divorce that completely shattered my world, my life. I lost my family. They disowned me. I lost friends. I lost income. I lost my security. I've had financial hardship. If you've ever known what the envelope system is, where you put your paycheck into cash envelopes, and that's, you know, rent, car, gas, food, and when that envelope's empty, there is nothing. I had no backup. I had no reserve. I had no one. And, you know, so I've seen both sides of this world. I know what the hardships are like. But who doesn't have rough things that happen? You know what I mean? If I took all of my troubles and threw them out on a table, and you did the same, because I know you have them, and you've probably had them worse than me, and we said, okay, here's what I got, dump my bag out, and you dump your bag out, I'm going to guess that all of us would probably just kind of scoop up, okay, I'll take mine back. Thanks so much. Never mind. I don't want yours. You know what? Because everybody has this stuff. It's how we deal with it and what we do in the situation that makes all the difference in the world. So know that, you know, if your situation, if you've got a tough time in your personal life or in your business, I'm going to teach you some things that I think will help you get through those times and keep marching forward. So it's the same in our business. There's going to be rough spots. When you start out in your business, we all start out with the same kit, right? We've all got the same opportunity. It's almost like Oprah Winfrey said, and I've got a business for you, and I've got one for you. And, you know, it's all given to us, right? But what we do with it makes all the difference. So I don't know if anybody's been, you know, is in the business as long as I have been, 22 years, but literally we had to make our business in 1997. They sent us a kit with pieces of wood and nails, and we literally had to nail together a crate to carry our crap to parties. It was bizarre. I didn't even have I had to use a shoe. I didn't even own a hammer. I had nothing. I'm like hammering with a shoe trying to get this box together. So everybody starts out, but you know what? Think about how different people start out. Some people just start out with a bang, especially today. If you're going to national conference, you're going to see quick, fast start directors like ants walking across the stage, because today people are promoting and building businesses much faster than I did. So here's a secret. I didn't even recruit one person for 3 years. I was a loser, just a total loser. I was selling, but I didn't recruit anybody. Once though, I decided that I wanted to go for director. I did it in just a very short amount of time. So the one thing I want you to write down is once you, and the word decide, it really is a powerful word. Once you decide to do anything, you could take all the training in the world and nothing will work, I can promise you. If all it took was information to do great things in this world, or to be a good person, if just information was all it would take, guess what? There would be no divorce, there would be no drug problems, there would be no, nobody would smoke, nobody would drink, because we all know what to do. But we have to be inspired. We have to decide to change something about it, right? Because information, guys, is everywhere. If you need to know something, what do you typically do? Do you pick up your phone? Like me, I'm like old. Like, hey Siri, how do you spell hippopotamus? I talk into my phone constantly. But we have info at our fingertips, right? It's everywhere. We live in an information society. But you have to have the decision that comes from here and from here to do something with information, because information alone does not do a thing. So the first thing that I decided in my business was 8 years into the business. I was working full time. By that time I had been remarried, but we had 5 kids between us. You know, I was super busy, but I decided I wanted to leave my 28-year career. And I needed to make at least close to what I was making at my day job. And I was doing about 2 parties a week. So I decided in 1 year that I was going to do as many parties as I could. My calendar was absolutely crazy. But in 1 year, I was able to get my income up to $39,000. That was in 2005, and I quit my full-time job. And I thought, I've got enough going on. But that year, I quit. I decided that I didn't want to do just parties, that I really wanted a bigger team. And in that year, I decided to recruit just anybody who had a heartbeat, a pulse. You're alive. Come on. You're going to sign up. And that's the year that I won my first Circle of Honor award, which was for top recruiter. I signed and qualified 42 people in 1 year that year. Now that was not what I wanted to do my whole career, but that's what I did when I decided. So my career kind of went along. I just promoted to senior executive director in February, but guess what? I had promoted to that title 9 years ago, and then lost it just as fast as I got it and never got it back. It took me 9 years to get this thing back. So I'm not an instant success story. And some people are, and that's great. That's their journey. My journey has been one where it's taken me ups and downs, slides, forwards, all the. And Liz, friend, you're mute.
Sorry. Yes, I do. Sorry.
Thank you, honey. So one of the things that I had to change just recently, and I'll share more about this later, is that I had to embrace the virtual world. Do you know that I had not done any virtual parties until last fall? Do you know why? Because I was stubborn. I didn't want to do them. I liked my cooking shows. I was happy as a clam. I was good. I didn't need to do them. My business was okay, but you know whose business wasn't okay? My team's. We'd been doing the same kind of business for 10 years and nothing was changing. So the other thing is that our number of shows was sliding. You know, I'm a numbers girl because I was an accountant, and I could see what was happening. My customers and my team's customers were spending more. If I could get a customer, they were spending more, but I wasn't getting as many customers, and I wasn't definitely getting as many shows. What a lot of my team was doing was just piecemealing together sales, like throwing it out on Facebook, like, hey, I've got a party going in. Does anybody need anything? Well, guess who they're selling to? Their friends and family, and that's it. And that's no way to build a business. That's a way to like have your family go like, Marna, we just don't need anything more from Pampered Chef. Please leave. Well, they told me to leave for different reasons, but that's okay. Never mind. Okay, so I know. So I needed to change so that my team would change. And change we did. And at the end of this call, I'm going to share with you the difference between what 1 year can make in your business once you decide to do some different things. But I want to make sure I get to this important part of my chat, which is to share with you what I found to be business changing for me. This is what I really wanted to share with you, is to share with you a message about the cycles of a business. There are cycles in life. There are cycles and seasons in, like spring, summer, fall, winter, right? We're not always in summer where everything is growing and hopping and wonderful. We've got fall and we've got winter and we've got spring. So these are the cycles of your business that I really would like you to write them down because it's really an important part, okay? So the first cycle is the growth cycle. Growth cycle. That's where you're doing it all. Things are coming easy, bookings, selling, recruiting. Usually this happens at the beginning of a business. Why? Because you're excited. You don't know any better. You're just doing it. Somebody told you to do this. Oh, okay. And you're doing it and things are growing and things are going well. The thing I will tell you about growth is that it doesn't last. It can't last. No one can perform at that level forever. It's just human nature. Just like we can't have summer all year round. And the tip that I'm going to share with you now about growth is that you have to take advantage of it. When you're in a growth cycle, you have to realize that that's what's happening. And you've got to bring in everything. You've got to put it all out there because you are in a growth cycle. Because the sad news is that this cycle will stop. And you want it to last as long as you humanly can. So you're going to eke out when you're getting bookings. Like if you go to a party and you get 3 bookings and you're so excited, don't stop making your reach outs. That's what we always do. We go, oh, wow, I've got this. Don't stop making more booking calls. You keep going when you're in a growth mode. The next cycle is plateau. And plateau, if you think about plateau of a mountain, it's flat. Some people call plateau that they're kind of coasting. They're just kind of like everything's going okay. They're comfortable, and that's the key word in plateau. You're pretty happy with what's happening. You're doing some of what you used to do, but you don't think, I don't have to work that hard. Look, everything's falling into place. It's nice and comfy. It's not too hard. It's not too busy. Again, here's the message. This phase will not last either. It will not last. Because what's going to come next is decline. Decline. And this is where you definitely are not doing enough of anything that you need to do. And things start to look pretty grim. And then they pretty much fall apart. And you hit rock bottom. And this is where I would, and this has happened to me, but I look at my calendar and I'm afraid to flip it over because there is nothing on my calendar. Nothing. And there's no bookings. And then what happens is that we start to play the blame game. And we start blaming it on my team. My team isn't doing anything. They're not doing anything. We blame it on the business, the company. If they hadn't done this, we blame it on our upline, our sideline, our downline, anybody we can. We can blame it on the economy. We could blame it on crappy weather. We could blame it on a new policy. Anything. The real reason, though, is that decline is a natural part of this business cycle. It's going to happen. I mean, I just don't know anybody that has taken a rocket ship to the top and not gone through this cycle. And what happens is when you're in decline, guess when people leave the company or they give up on their business? Is it when they're in growth or plateau? I can tell you it's when they're in decline. And the thing is, you are the same person, the same situation, the same world. We can change this. And the next cycle is rebuild. Rebuild. And when you have to rebuild your business, you basically focus on the very most important thing you need to get your business back where it needs to go. And if you think about these cycles, this is very much like relationships, weight loss. I've been on every weight loss plan known to the universe. I've been a vegan, a vegetarian. I've been on keto. I've been to a fat farm. I've done Weight Watchers 3 times. I've lost an amazing $450. It goes on and on. But weight loss journeys have cycles. You know what I mean? You get all fired up, you start doing it again. So once you get back through rebuild, focusing on what you need to do, I promise you, you will go back into a growth mode. This happens over and over. Now look, some days I think that I've gone through all 4 cycles in one freaking day, because one phone call can lift me up like, whoa, this is going great. And then the next phone call is like, oh, this is not working. So the trick is, when you're in decline, if you know anybody in decline, we need to figure out what we can do to jumpstart and get us back into rebuild, because we want that decline to be as painless as it can be, as short as it can be, because you don't want to leave or stop when you're in decline. There's a really cute little cartoon that shows like somebody digging in a, let's say it's in a, I don't know, what do you call those things where people dig for gold? I can't even think of that, you know, like a vein, I don't know. They're digging, 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 and they stop, and it shows like right where they stopped digging, right on the other side there was the gold. I mean, they just stopped short of their gold. Nobody leaves the business with a full calendar. So when you get to that spot, the first thing is you're going to say, well, this is normal, but I'm going to get myself back out. So I always found that when I was in a bad spot, I needed something exciting to get me going again. Just like if I'm in a weight loss journey, you know, like a new recipe or a new idea or a new friend. So speaking of friends, the first thing I'm going to tell you is that you are the summary of the 5 people that you hang around with the most. The 5 people, you are the sum average of them. Could be family, could be in business, but think about in business. And sometimes when you're in decline, you don't want to be talking to these chicks that are like, and guys that are just like doing everything. Woohoo, I've got 22 recruits this month. And you know, you go like, oh, whatever. You kind of avoid them. I'm going to tell you to try to reach out to them and work with them and ask them, hey, what are you doing? Can you give me a tip? I've learned my best tips from other people in the business. It has not been from my upline. I was 6th in line in Nancy Joe's line, and the other people that were in between were nothing. I got nothing from anybody my whole career. So I always say to people, look, the best success stories in this business are people who are self-starters, who have to kind of do it on their own. So don't avoid those movers and shakers. Work with them, call them, participate in everything. And the second thing is to find something new that will excite you. And you know what? Sometimes it's just a simple thing. Like I met with some directors. It's something simple like a recipe that turns into a theme, that sparks an idea, and you go out on Facebook and work it. So I'll give you just a couple of examples, some things that have sparked some of my directors who were in decline. We talked about how we have to be excited about the show structure. If you guys are virtual, I assume most of you are virtual. But you have to be the marketing department. So one of my directors went out on Facebook and she just posted like, hey guys, you know, I'm looking for new themes to do for my parties. What ideas do you have? Like, I thought of like, you know, like Mondays with Marna or whatever she came up with, but what ideas do you have? And oh my gosh, these people start posting things. I think she gave them one idea, like maybe salad and sangria, which we all know. Now look, these people are probably going to come up with stuff that you already know, but guess what? It's their idea. So guess what she did? Message and said, oh my gosh, your idea wins. I'm going to try a virtual party with your theme, and I'd love for you to be the first person to test it out. She got all kinds of bookings. It was crazy because they like their idea. Another thing that we talked about was I have a director that loves Christmas. Literally, like he's crazy about Christmas. I said, let's do a Christmas in July virtual party. I want you to message 5 of your friends who love Christmas just like you. And you know what we're going to do? We're not going to just offer like Christmas deals. We're going to post Christmas recipes. There's boatloads of recipes for Pampered Chef for Christmas, right? So you're going to start talking about people getting their Christmas shopping done and looking for hosts who want to get some of their Christmas shopping done for free. And because he loved Christmas, that sparked him, and he got right back on track and had something exciting. I had another girl who could not seem to get bookings or whatever. And, you know, it's always about, you know, what are you saying? So this was in my downline, and I looked at her Facebook page, and there was nothing but stuff about these rabbits that she had. Like, she loved rabbits, and she was raising rabbits, and we live in Michigan, and I don't know, she's probably eating them rabbits. I don't know. Economy's pretty poor. Maybe she's eating them. I don't know what she's doing with these rabbits, but she loved rabbits. So I said, we came up with some verbiage, and we just said, hey, friends, I'm working on my July business, and I'm looking for some bunny to help and have a party. We're going to be doing blah, blah recipe, and it would really, you know, I would really love to work with you. And something, one other reference to rabbits or bunnies. Oh my God, the booking started to pour in because she was excited about the stupid rabbit idea. So sometimes it is the thought that, oh my gosh, this is a temporary thing. And this little, you know, jog in the road. And all I have to do is focus my attention on at least one thing that's positive and start to rebuild. So you have to start to think back, what worked before? And I can almost promise you that the things that keep people going in this business are the same things that got them started to begin with. I don't do anything really new, but I have to trick myself into thinking, oh my gosh. So let me tell you one other thing that we did to get our entire team moving in the same direction. If any of the leaders in this team can tell me, are you pretty much a virtual business? Is your team virtual, pretty much virtual?
Everybody who's working right now on my team is virtual.
All right. So if you are a virtual consultant, and you already have that world already, you know, you're on fire with virtual, then I would beg you to try to step back over to the cooking show consultant idea and do your own party. I would love for you all to book one party at your house, because who's your best host potential host? It's you. So do your own party, but you cannot just say, I'm doing a cooking party at my house, and you know, come to a Pampered Chef party. I want you to either call it a come cook with me party, where you're going to let everybody cook with you and you're going to pick a theme. I love themes. We did an all-American theme, and we did sliders, burger sliders. We did homemade mac and cheese and an apple dessert. What's more all-American than that? So that was my all-American cooking class. I've done come and play bingo at my house. You get a bingo card for coming, you get a bingo card for bringing a friend, and you get a bingo card for ordering, and you get 3 bingo cards for booking a party. I can guarantee you, when you get them to your house and you get them, you do a little bit of cooking with them or show them some products, and then you haul out the bingo cards, they're going to book parties. They will, because it's peer pressure. Like I go around and say, okay, how many bingo cards do you want? And I hold them in their face, and they'll take them. You want to book a party in July? Okay. Got to do something different. If you have kids, do a kids cooking class. Do you have an outdoor space? Do an outdoor barbecue space. Guess what? The parties all kind of run the same. It's just, you have to remember that you're the marketing department for your business. You know, you can't go into, Target and have the exact same display as you walk in. You know, those dollar bins, they're ever changing to excite you. So you go in and I don't need any dollar stuff, but they market it so well. I go, oh my gosh, this is so cute. Yes. So think about, what could you do? Could you do a breakfast for dinner? bingo cards. So Janelle's asking, like, where do you get the bingo cards, Janelle? Or bingo game? You just go to a local store and they'll give you bingo cards. Or you can buy a bingo set. It's really super, super easy. I've also played bunco with my customers. But I had a dip in my business when my dad died in 2000. Gosh, it's horrible to think. I can't even remember the year. 2011. He was my one, secret supporter through all my problems. Yes, you can buy bingo cards online. You get 500 for $10. That's what. Yeah, it's true. But anyway, I had one of those moments where I turned the calendar and it was September and I literally had nothing on my calendar. It was just, heart-wrenching. And I wasn't doing virtual parties. So I started making calls with Anu and messaging people, especially past hosts, and getting a few parties started. And I got one, it was a former consultant, and she had a party for me, and it was like a $1,500 party. But that one party, I traced it out, that one party brought in over $15,000 worth of sales that fall, numerous recruits, bookings galore. One party can change the complexion of your world, one good party. So if you're doing virtual, the other thing that I learned in this virtual world is the importance of absolute consistency. You cannot do one virtual party a week. You've got to do 4. You just can't do just one to have big success. And that, what, I found that out from people like Stacy Itzel, Love Carpenter. Love is going to walk as a national director. And she's been a friend of mine and actually a protege of mine for years. We've worked together. And she's always said, I just want to be like you, Marna. I want to be like you when I grow up, because I'm like the most ancient person in this business. So I'm like the old woman. That girl went from student to rock star in 6 months. She started to make changes. Getting her team to understand that they needed to do 4 parties. And the biggest thing is creating a system that makes it easy for a new consultant to step in and immediately do a party. And we do the launch party for our new consultants for them. We run the whole party. It's their party. We create the group. We do all the posting. We're showing her how to do it, or him how to do it. We don't just tell them, hey, go make a template and you go book a party and get started. That is not working. That didn't work for me. That didn't work for any of these guys. So think about what your business needs. And most businesses need bookings. If July still needs bookings, then is anybody going to conference? That post that you're saying about the surprise box, have you guys chatted about how you could utilize that? Has anybody done it? Mm-hmm. Have you gotten some bookings from it? Nobody commented a GIF?
I got comments with GIFs on it, but there happened to coincidentally be almost all of my recent hosts. So of course I reached out and said, you can always do this again and do it in a different way, a different theme. And so I'm still working it, but okay. I have not yet, but I know the people have.
I got 7. I got 7 bookings.
I got 13.
13?
Yeah, 13. Not all of them for July, but I was grabbing bookings. I was kind of winging it. And what I did was just separate categories. So anyone that booked in July went in one drawing. The other people that booked other months went in another drawing because they had just hosted. So
it's amazing.
I just ran with it.
That's the kind of thing. It's just one quick idea, and all of a sudden you're so freaking excited about it. And this speaks to human nature. I could post, hey, who wants to have a party? I will give you my right arm. I've got a left arm. I only need a right. I'll just give you this right arm. I'll give you my firstborn child. I'll give you $1,000, and they won't book. I tell them that they can get a chance to win a surprise box of crap they don't even know what will be in it, and they're coming out of the woodwork. Like, sign me up. They like gambling. It's insane. People like the thrill of not knowing. I go figure. So that's the kind of exciting thing that happens once in a while. Now, if you got 13 bookings and you got 7 and you're still working, what I would say to you who had hosts that just did it, my message to them would be, girl, can you think of anybody who might want to have a party? Because I'll put them in the drawing, but I'll put you in too, just for helping me out. Okay. So Nicole wants to know, where do I find this post on the surprise boxes? So in a nutshell, Nicole, what we posted was, hey, I'm going to conference in 2 weeks. I'm so excited. Who wants to have a chance to get a surprise box of fun Pampered Chef products worth, I think I put worth at least 75 because they always are, get a chance to have me send them a box of products. So I'm sure one of your teammates can give you an exact. And I said, drop me a fun gift below. I got 155 comments, 155. I was messaging all day. So this is going to bring me to the last thing I'll share with you. And because social media has kind of become one of my passions, because we're moving into a world where social media has replaced all forms of communication, all entertainment. I want you to think about your Facebook page and Facebook in general as a TV. When I was growing up, there were 3 channels, and there wasn't a whole lot to grab our attention. You were either going to watch Batman or Lawrence Welk. I mean, you only had 3 choices. Today, just like information, we are overwhelmed with opportunity of what to look at. And so people are just clicking through Facebook, quick. You have to find things that will stop their scroll. That's a term in social media, stop the scroll. What could you put out? How can you word things that will make people stop? Same in virtual parties. You've got to have stuff that will grab their attention. That's why we do all those crazy things like, I don't know, what do you have in your refrigerator that nobody else has? What's the food that you just can't stand? Blah, blah, blah. But look, social media is here to stay, and it's only going to get, it's going to change and evolve. But I have just a couple of tips that I'd love to end with about Facebook in general. Not necessarily Facebook parties, but Facebook in general. That really has helped my team. Number 1, every single day, you need to find 10 people that are not on your team and not in Pampered Chef and not in your family to comment on their news, whatever they've posted. And it might not come up in your notifications or in your news feed. And here's why. Most Pampered Chef consultants, half of their friends are Pampered Chef consultants, because we make friends with everybody in the business, right? So Facebook sees, oh my gosh, Kara's interested in cooking, Marna's interested in cooking, and Pampered Chef, I'm just going to flood your news feed with all of this stuff. So you never even really get a chance to see other people's stuff. So sometimes you have to purposely go out to their pages and find something and comment. And this is why, because you want to build a bridge. You can't just be a lurker on Facebook. What a lot of my consultants do is they want to put stuff out like, hey, who wants to have a party? But they don't use Facebook. They're not commenting. They're not building bridges. They're not communicating with people. The minute you start posting on their walls, when you post something, Facebook will have remembered that you had that connection. It'll send your post out to them. Because guess what? All your people are not seeing what you post. There's no way that Facebook would send out everything you post to all your friends. 80% of your posts on Facebook about Pampered Chef need to be free content, free. No, buy this, book a party, nothing. It needs to be just free tips, recipes, live video. If you don't do live video on Facebook or on Instagram, or I don't know where else, I only use Facebook. I've mastered this pretty much, but you are missing the boat. You have to do live video. Do you know that Facebook favors Facebook Live over all other things that you could possibly post? The other thing is that when you do comment, like let's say you get all these people commenting on something that you post, you make sure that you reply back in 5 words or more. You don't just like it, you don't just love it. You tag them and message them something back. Now, if you're going to put out there that you're going to cook on Facebook, which I think is a super powerful, far-reaching way to build your business, because I cook quite often. I took a month off in June because of some Facebook issues. We shall not name them, but they were not pretty, and I don't like orange. It is not my color. But people tend to start to look for you doing something. Be consistent on Facebook. So one of the things that one of my directors did, she wanted to go on Facebook and cook, but she she wasn't real comfortable doing it. So she put out 4 recipes that she knew how to make. She could make them in her sleep. And she had her customer base vote on which one they wanted her to cook on Monday. So she put, vote for A, B, C, or D. She did a little pick collage. There were the 4 recipes. She had like 80 people vote on what she should cook. And then guess what? On Sunday, she says, hey, join me on Monday, Meals with Marna. I'm going to be cooking live at 6 o'clock. Come join me. The customer top rated recipe was blank. Now, guess what she did with all the other people, though, that voted? She messaged them all. Oh my gosh, you would love that chicken fiesta dip. I would love to make that at a party with you. And if you can, I'd love to test it with you. I will give you a free Southwestern seasoning for giving it a try, for being one of my guinea pigs, for testing that recipe. See, you want to use Facebook to build some kind of relationship. What people tend to do is go after the sale. They don't want to build a relationship. And that's what I mean by building the relationship. Whatever you post, you use to comment, they mentioned a recipe. That gives you free reign to message them back and say, hey, thanks for voting. Oh my gosh, you didn't win, but I'd love to do a free cooking class for you. Or I'd love to feature that in a virtual party. That's what can change your business forever and ever. If once you start looking for ways to use what you've got to build, it's going to change forever. So I told you I would just share some stats. So I will, just because as executives, we kind of get report cards. You guys, as a director, we didn't get report cards. I mean, if you didn't get paid as a director, you obviously, we're not doing so great. But we get report cards that compare our performance to other executives at our level. So I'll get compared to see what, how you have a percentile. I would find out what percentile I am in compared to all the other executives. And I enjoyed, usually being pretty smug about mine, like, pretty good here. Well, guess what? Last executive seminar, I sucked. It was bad because my team was in a decline and I was just doing nothing to fix it. I wasn't helping them with the virtual world. I was ignoring it. We just kept trying to put out things like, hey, put out a brownie pan challenge. Well, that's about as creative as nothing. And they're selling to all of their friends and family. So we started to focus on number of shows. We were tracking how many parties per team. Like the bare minimum was your team had to have at least 10 parties. Then we went to 20, and now I've got 30. How many parties? Because that's how you're going to get your new bookings and your new recruits, is actually having them do parties. So in the year 2018, in the month of, we'll use May, in the month of May, in 2018, a year ago, my overall organization did 281 parties. This year in 2019, we did 555 parties. That is a 97% increase in number of parties. We recruited, now obviously May was a great month for recruiting, but the year before we recruited 15 people. In May of this year, we recruited 124 people. Why? Because they were doing parties. They had hosts. They had people to ask. So my message to you would be to focus on number of parties, because that gets you in the door so that you can expand then the number of people that they're talking with and that they're exposed to, and the power goes on and on and on. And virtual parties does give you the power to be in front of a lot more people. So I went way over on my half hour, so I super apologize. I signed it kind of like it's like the preacher in church, like you go, please let him stop talking. Why is he still talking? and I do it to you guys. So if you have any questions, please feel free, but I really appreciate you letting me hang out. I hope that you took one nugget. I always say if I go to a workshop and I get one new idea, one thing, my job will have been met. So I hope you got a new idea.
I have 2 pages of nuggets, so there's no problem there.
Nuggets are there.
You guys go ahead and unmute yourself if you have a question. We'll go ahead and take a couple questions. Marna, you're amazing, as always.
Marna,
Yes,
I have the quick question about the contest on getting the packages at conference.
Yes, please.
Okay. What you're going to do is have a drawing, and then I'm going to buy, what, a $10 thing and have it sent back home to me, and then is that what we're doing?
Yeah, basically, I mean, some people are doing different ways, friend. So you could say everybody who books the party will get one product out of my surprise box, send it to you. Okay, there's only 25 and 50s this year. There are no 10s. So the other thing is, I know people were thinking that they could send the surprise box to their winning host, and that is not a possibility. FedEx at home office will only ship it to you or to a registered. So what I'm doing is I'm going to, depending on how many bookings I'll end up getting, but I probably will do one surprise box for every 10 bookings. If I get 20 bookings, I'll give 2. Because you know what? I could beat these streets for days and not get 20 bookings. I'm like, I would have given them a right arm. So I'm going to get the box. I'm going to bring it home. Now, if there's something super heavy, or if I get the freaking golden ticket, I'm going to take out that heavy piece of cookware, put that aside, and send them the rest, because they don't know what came in the surprise box, right?
Well, the other reason to not have it shipped straight to them, too, is if we get one of those ones that has a bunch of bags and aprons, they don't need that. So make sure they can use.
Or you're going to send it to them, and then they're not going to book the come through with the party.
Right. So you could wait and until the party is held. Then you would ship it. Then you would, if it's an in-home party, of course you can take it. But I really just think it's the excitement of that dumb. I mean, we get it. I mean, how many of you have a house full of Pampered Chef crap and you're going to go buy a surprise box? Hey, it's 75% off. Let me take more home.
Right.
Insane. But that's how your customers feel. So that's what I'm doing. I'm going to draw one winner, and then I'll figure out how to give it to them.
Good. That helps me a lot. Thanks so much.
I actually have a question on that, because the one video that I saw, she wanted all the shows closed before she went to conference.
Yeah, that was at Grace Spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, Grace went off on a different angle from what I'm doing. I needed to open up lots of potential. I just could not. I mean, first of all, I don't want to work that hard before I go to conference. I don't know about you guys, but I got to lose 22 pounds, maybe 30. I don't know. I got work to do here. I cannot be doing 16 parties before I go to conference. So I wanted to build something that was a little more long lasting. Okay. So I'm taking bookings all the way through the end of August in this contest.
I like that.
But if people do need the parties in July, so that's what I needed parties in July. So what I did, it was last week, and it's anything that closes before I go to conference, and then I'll draw out of those people. So that's what I did. But now I'm expanding it and going off on, okay, so they didn't want to book in July because of whatever. So now I'm going to do 2 giveaways, one for the later ones and then one for the ones that close before conference, because I needed those bookings.
I agree. And I definitely, though, would bonus the people who will close before conference a much heavier weight than somebody who will book in later in August. So like Natalie says, do a whole box for somebody from those people that will close by the 23rd, and maybe then start messaging people like, hey, if you can't do it before I go to conference, if we do it in August, I'll give you your pick of something out of that box. There's always cool stuff, blah, blah. I always just kind of I'm very vague. I'm like baffling with BS, like, hey, I'm going to do something. I don't know what yet, but I'm going to do something. Okay. So yeah, you got to focus on what you want.
Great. Any other questions?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
I couldn't go to conference this year because I just had a baby. Thank you. But I'm really liking the box idea, like the mystery box, and I need booking.
You can do it. You know what you can do? I told my girls who are not going, you just post a box, a picture of a Pampered Chef carton box, and you say,
Okay.
oh my gosh, I have just cleaned out my Pampered Chef treasure trove, and I have a box of $100 worth of Pampered Chef products that one of you can have. You can still create that same excitement.
Okay.
You could
You
buy
have
That was my
another
question.
idea?
If I could just sort of like kind of make it up and,
You
you
can
know,
get
but
things off the
I don't want to
app.
spend like, I don't have a ton of money to spend because I also haven't been working my day job.
Yeah. So,
So
do you
I
have any? Do you have any old crap at home you'd like to get rid of?
Not Pampered Chef stuff.
You know what?
I have a lot, I mean, I have a lot of Pampered Chef stuff, but I use it all the time.
So nothing new in the box, nothing that you bought from the outlet or anything like that.
No, I guess I could buy stuff from the outlet real quick and just make
Well-
it back if I'm getting bookings, but
Well,
You could
another.
also do this credit towards towards the hosts. It wouldn't have to be something you had. You could always do like a $20 off an extra $20 in free products or something like that.
This was again about the surprise though. This was another idea we had for the Christmas in July guy. We had him take Christmas bags and put numbers on them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And inside the bag, girl, you just put a picture or a piece of paper that tells the product that they would get. And that it creates that excitement still. The other thing that I've done is I've gone out, and so I probably will go to hell for this, so join me. I went to the local grocery store and I bought $5 gift cards, all $5. And I posted like, oh my gosh, host a party, pick one of these gift cards for anywhere between $5 and $20. Well, dang it, all the 20s were gone because I kept all those. I'm sorry. They were all 5s. They don't know. I put them out and I'll take gift card number 6. Okay, good. Got your name on it. You know, I'm telling you, it's the gambling that people like. So Julie says, anyone from your team going that could get a box for you? And the answer is no. Last year, they let consultants send them to other consultants. See, what they're going to do today is you're going to go through line and you're going to get your surprise box. And at the same time, you're going to purchase a pre-printed FedEx label for $10. And it only the people in the computer are people attending conference. You can't send it to a consultant back home.
Do you know if they're letting us open them and consolidate boxes and send one versus, or are they just going to go?
No, you can still do that.
Okay.
You'll still be able to, but you know how we had to buy the box and then go in a completely new line? That's all done. That won't be. You'll get your label, do what you want, and then just go drop it off.
I love that. I'm so
It's going to be
glad they're
super
doing that.
fast. Yeah.
So glad they're doing that.
I thought about if I do a drawing, because I got to do 3 drawings, and if someone in Minnesota wins, I would just have a consultant from Minnesota buy the box, and I would give them the money for it. That way, my person could pick it up in Minnesota versus me sending it to them from Montana. And I would be willing, if anyone's got someone from Montana that wins, you know, what's the odds on that?
You would still want whoever to go through that box and make sure it's something they could have, but then again,
Right.
make sure they don't want something of their own as well.
But if, like, say someone else could, because I have a lot of contacts in Minnesota.
Yeah. You surely could do that. Or send it to you, pick out the lightest weight stuff, and hopefully send it for $6 or $8 and be done with it. We can. There's a whole bunch of ways we can skin the cat. But go ahead. But that for whatever reason, it worked for almost all of my consultants, and I really still go back to it's the unknown, the excitement, the whatevs. So.
Well, Marna, thank you again. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to see if there's anybody else who has any last minute questions. Otherwise, we're going to let you go because we've taken up almost an hour of your time. So
Time flies.
it does.
We totally appreciate you, though. You were awesome, as always.
Thanks,
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. See ya.
We'll wrap it up, and I will send you the link in case you want to share with anybody too. But thank you, Marna. We really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.